This episode of the New Hampshire Business Show is sponsored by Everlasting Capital. If you're a small business and you need money and a bank won't give it to you, Everlasting Capital is here to help. In as quickly as a couple of days, you can have the funding your business needs for new equipment or anything else you need the capital for. So submit your application today and see how they can help you out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Heather Vaillancourt of Monadnock Therapeutic Bodyworks, LLC.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Cool, so let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have been for about 3 years now. I'm terrible with dates, so some of this is going to be a little rough. But I have been practicing body work for that many years professionally, and prior to that, it's been something that's been a passion of mine. I was a student athlete my whole entire life. I passed up a scholarship to play softball in college to go to art school, and so my background was in ceramics. So I had that sports side, but that creativity side, and having been a pretty naturally accident-prone person myself, I learned at a really young age the benefit that massage therapy can have and how transformative it is. And so I made the decision once I had settled down back on the East Coast, locked myself into a lease, and it was at that point I decided to pursue massage therapy professionally.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what was the reason for massage therapy? Because there's a lot of professions out there you can get into.
Yeah, absolutely.
For massage therapy, chiropractic kind of has that same type of feel to it. Acupuncture, why massage?
So I ended up pursuing massage specifically because I had, as a student athlete, tried on several different hats. I knew what the PT world was like, having gone through some PT myself. There was something about massage therapy that was appealing to me because it's that one-on-one interaction. It's an education for people learning about their bodies, learning about the way in which our bodies function and dysfunction. And so I think it was the combination of the creativity and sort of my background in ceramics that gave me that sensitivity to working with material hands-on, combining that with the physicality of being on my feet all day, working with my hands all day, and interpersonal connections that I built. I think it was something that at first I thought was interesting, and then from day one of school, I just knew that that's what I wanted to be doing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like working with people too. I just don't like touching people.
Yeah.
I don't like people touching me either. Like, I have a weird body space thing. So, you know, I could imagine that being tricky sometimes.
I get home at the end of the day some days, and I just need to be alone and recharge my battery a little bit. But I absolutely love the work, and I love working with people in that format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how long have you been practicing so far?
So I have been practicing professionally for 3
years.
Going on 4 years.
Okay.
The schooling, the program itself was a year intensive. So I was working a full-time job to kind of support my way through school. I had done somewhat informal internship training with my future employer, and then I was working in a corporate environment where I was massaging other massage therapists and sort of getting to know the ins and the outs of the logistics side of it. So I kind of immersed myself 2 feet right in the water. I just wanted to know everything about the way the industry worked so that, you know, once I entered the field, I could just jump right in the direction I wanted to be.
Okay. So I should have asked this first. Okay. Where's your practice typically run from?
So my practice is based out of my office in Peterborough, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yep, I opened up my doors August of 2018. Peterborough is the area my husband and I are both from, and so we were formerly living out on the seacoast, and we knew when we started dating pretty early on that we wanted to at some point relocate back just to be closer to our families and to start ours. So I had been working for a practice out on the seacoast called Body Mechanics Massage, owned by Amanda Holt. She's amazing. The practice is amazing, and I can't say enough positive things about my experience working there as an employee. I mean, she is just the most nurturing employer I've ever worked for, and so she was really awesome about taking me in and getting me trained and helping build up my schedule and build up my confidence too. I think as a new practitioner, that was really a challenge for me as sort of a self-doubting person in general. She really kind of nurtured that and helped me grow that confidence. And so when I had the talk with her talking about I was going to be relocating back to that hometown area, she was so supportive of that process too, and kind of taught me, here's what you'll need, and if you need me as a resource, if you have any questions that come up, I'm always going to be here for you. So I can't give her enough credit for all the help that she provided along the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because some people don't have those luxury stories.
Yeah. No, I've had some horror stories on the other end of it. The bosses who micromanage and have no gratitude whatsoever. So I've seen both sides, and I think that in the end, that's what I knew was that I wanted to eventually work for myself. I didn't think it was going to happen as quickly as it had, but I knew in the back of my mind that that's a goal I really wanted to work towards.
Yeah, which is actually a really good question. Again, why? Because there's a big difference between working in a practice and then starting your own. There's a lot of responsibility and a lot of things going on there. So why the jump to do your own thing?
So it was primarily driven by the relocation and looking into that area. There weren't any major employers employing massage therapists, and the ones who were doing it on a grander scale had that corporate feel to them, even if they were smaller businesses. And so as wonderful as some of those practices can be, being an employee in an environment where you're, it is, I'm trying to think of the term for that employment, hourly commission. So you're hourly commission. So if you're not working, you're not necessarily getting paid. And if somebody's not working hard to fill your schedule for you in the beginning to help you build that up, it can be a lot of unpaid sitting around twiddling your fingers. And I'm just the type of person, when things are slow, I'm doing other projects, I'm getting things done. And I figured, if I'm going to be going back to that area, do I want to be doing that for somebody else, or do I want to be utilizing that time and energy put back into something that I'm helping to grow myself? So that's kind of where that decision came from. It just felt right to finally make that leap.
Okay. I like that. Everyone has their own reason for why they jump into entrepreneurship. And it's always fun to figure out what that is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when it comes to massage therapy, I've seen kind of two types of massage therapists. One who they kind of they're very scientific, they're very, I see a lot with athletes and stuff like that, but they kind of don't go down the spiritual route, which a lot of other massage therapists kind of go. Where do you kind of fall on that spectrum?
So on the scale of 1 to 10, 1 being normal, 10 being woo-woo, that really deeply spiritual side, I think I fall pretty squarely in the middle. And with that being said, in my practice, it's probably fairly equally split. My practice is primarily deep tissue focused, sports massage, injury prevention, injury rehabilitative services. So I think that there is that clinical aspect to it, but because of that sort of artistic, creative nature that comes in, I think there's a really strong connection between the therapeutic massage that comes in and then sort of that energetic element that's there. And some of that comes from my training with craniosacral therapy, which is equal parts, again, very clinical in all of its applications, but it has that sort of woo-woo to it in there that doesn't have to be communicated. It doesn't have to be, I'm not projecting that onto anybody else. If it comes up in conversation, by all means we can have that discussion. But it's something that I think people resonate with and people connect with, even if it's not so explicitly talked about. Yeah.
Cool. I've talked to a lot of massage therapists over the years.
Yeah.
And that's always one of my fun ones. I'm like, where do we fall
Where
on
on the
this?
spectrum?
I can tell sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. So your studio's in Peterborough.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I love that area. So, what's the address for people that might want to No.
So it's 69 Main Street in Peterborough. So it's a blue building, and I'm on the second floor there. And there's something about that building. It's especially the space that I've been in. It's had this really interesting history of body workers in there in the past.
Yeah.
So it just kind of lends itself to that environment. So it's kind of a pretty seamless transition settling in.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Always have a bunch of fun questions for these ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who've never had a massage before, I know from past experiences and other conversations that it can be stressful. It can be a little hard for them. So do you have any advice for people who they haven't had a massage before? What to expect? Whatever you take from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, for somebody who's never had a massage before that's looking for a session, I think it's really important to almost do an interview process of whoever the prospective practitioner is. You want to make sure that it's somebody who is going to really listen to your needs, who's going to offer feedback and offer up what can be done to help you achieve those goals. And you really want to make sure that they have the credentials to back up the claims. And so if somebody's coming in and they're really stressed out and they want a session but they don't know what to ask for, under the umbrella of massage therapy, there are all sorts of modalities that can lend themselves towards that goal achievement. And so somebody who has a lot of tools at their disposal can then sort of put them together in some sort of way to make this comprehensive treatment plan. So if somebody says, I'm stressed, but I don't know what I want. I mean, I remember back when I was getting massage and I was looking at people's prices and services, I would say I want more pressure, but I'm not going to pay $20 extra for deep tissue because I don't want to be beat up the whole. I just didn't know. And so don't be afraid to ask the questions. If you have any uncertainties, any hesitations, anything at all, we've heard it all, we've seen it all, we've dealt with it all. So that awkwardness that might feel present for you is something that should be totally embraced because we're so comfortable with it. So always ask questions, always ask for clarity if it's not being given to you. But just be open and receptive towards those connections. And if it feels like the right practitioner, you can have that conversation with them, but you'll never know until you're actually on the table receiving the work. I mean, I've connected with really amazing people who are also massage therapists and then received a session, and it hasn't always been the most magical experience. So I think there's something to be said. Like any interview process, you have the initial interview and then you have the follow-up. So you just want to screen.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anything you want to go over? We pretty much covered all the questions I had kind of running out.
Yeah, so I guess as far as, my mission with coming on and talking to you about this, it's great to promote the business. I feel awesome about that. But what I really want to strongly advocate for is people investigating alternative options that are out there. I just wanted to take a minute to speak on, we have this Western medicine approach with our healthcare system, and it's got its place, and it's definitely had a lot of benefits throughout time. But I think that we're getting to a point in the system where there are protocols and things are relatively automatic, and people have options outside of the options that they're given in the hospital setting. And so that advocacy for trusting your gut and pursuing alternative options. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come into the office who are dealing with something and have been told, you need surgery. Carpal tunnel specifically is one that I see time and time again. Sure, there are times where that surgical intervention is so necessary, but I think that there are so many people who have benefited from massage, and that was kind of their Hail Mary. They signed up for the surgery. They decided, why not try one more thing? They came in for several massages because it's not always that instant overnight fix. but then to feel the results over time and how their bodies are physically changing and responding to the work, it's amazing. And so many people don't know that that's an option. And I think right now, the way that our health insurance systems are set up, it's slowly shifting in that direction. You see more acupuncture covered. You see more chiropractic covered. Some companies cover massage. Some allow HSA programs to cover massage. But I think that that's going to be the next alternative form of body care that's accepted into because of the way that it can have such a great impact and such a long-lasting impact.
Yeah. And, like... It's kind of funny you bring that up because most of the time, a lot of things stem from stress.
Yes.
And then diet, kind of, that area.
Yeah.
So if you kind of correct those two things, a lot of your health problems kind of go away.
Yeah. But it's so hard. I mean, it's so hard. Those are two seemingly small things. Those are monumental changes, and most people, and I for one can admit to this as well, change is hard, and I don't always want to do the change, but when you feel the outcome of making those positive changes, it's amazing to recognize how you lived before and how that felt previously, and just the incredible difference that those changes make, and when they add up, what they can be and what that life looks like. It's really awesome. It's really awesome.
Like all the aches and pains gone, you're less stressed out.
Exactly.
It's probably good for most people.
Exactly. Well, and I find it so interesting too, the way in which people choose the language that they do to describe their bodies and how they feel. I mean, I've worked with 70-year-olds who seem like 40, 50-year-olds. And I've worked with 40-year-olds who you would think are 60, 70 years old. And the one common factor that I see with all of that is the way in which people talk about their bodies. And so when you have pains and aches and you just say it's just part of aging, to some degree it is. But if you accept that as just this inevitability, then I think that your body listens, your muscles listen. The messages you tell yourself are the ones that you end up believing. And so the vitality of somebody who's older but mobile and healthy, I think it comes from those positive messages and the willingness to, when things arise that create discomfort, that create pain or dysfunction, the willingness to kind of take alternative options and find interventions outside of that hospital setting if need be, that will work.
I'm just laughing because I do this all the time. The chiropractor's constantly yelling at me. She's like, if it hurts, come see me. Before 2 years pass,
Exactly. It's hard to fix it once it's broken.
Yeah.
But it's easy. It's kind of like with your car. You give your car that regular maintenance, right? You do your oil changes and all of that, and that helps prevent big expensive fixes later on. Same exact concept.
I get it. I get yelled at for it all the time. Oh, that's funny. So we're getting pretty close to the end there. So is there anything you want to touch on before we head out?
No, I think that's it. I just want to extend the offer to anybody who's listening. Even if Peterborough, New Hampshire is too far of a commute and you have questions about bodywork, use me as a resource because I love the work that I do. I'm so fortunate to do it, and I just want people to find the pathway towards healing that they most identify with.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's been good having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
it. Absolutely. So anyone, definitely reach out if you need a massage. I always like them. They're fun. I've only had one because I have a body issue thing, but they're great. So again, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for watching. Everyone be good and have a great day.